Hey, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the second episode of the Don't Act Different Now podcast, man. Hey, brought a great new cast in. Last week's cast, they are all right, but they're out of here. Got some new guys, fresh content, some topics to talk about. I'm mad disrespectful. I'm mad. Look, everybody's like, oh, is this how you going to do it on the next one? No, I'm joking, man. Appreciate these guys showing up, man. We're going to roll into it. Hey, we got our event today, man. Free haircuts for the kids, man, at the Weight Pile of the Rockies. Got Chef Winsy right here, man. Roses and cilantro. Yes, gonna be doing the breakfast, man. Got the barber shopping up the hair, man. Hey, man, bring your kids out, man. Get some free haircuts, man. Got great barbers, great event, great people, man. Check us out, 1610 Main Street, Weight Pile in the Rockies, man. So with that said, man, let's introduce today's panel.
For sure. First name's Winsy, last name's Spell. I do food and cooking. The Instagram handle is going to be Roses and Cilantro. Give me a shout out, give me a follow if you do like my stuff. Going to be working with King Penny over here on Sunday, providing great breakfast for the kids, do some haircuts, giving back to the community. Feeling great. Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful intro.
Hey, man,
that was beautiful.
On Instagram, catch me.
Yeah, my name is Trina, or Queen Trina. I do everything under the sun. Realistically, there's not a lot that I can't do. But right now I'm focusing on photography and social media management, content creation, a lot of things in hip hop. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm curating a lot of lineups and stuff right now. So a lot of big things moving. I'll definitely follow you on Instagram because we love food. I'm like, why didn't you bring us food is the real question. That would have been appropriate. But you can follow me at Long Live the Queen 23 on Instagram.
I heard that, man. I'll put them all on the bottom, man. Hey, my name's Penny. I'm a future media mogul.
We don't care about Penny, sir. What was your name?
I'm a future media mogul. You know what I mean? Who brought water and supplies just
I brought my own water.
Talking about food. I brought water and supplies.
No snacks.
My name's TJ. I am from Boston. People pick that up really quick. Everyone calls me out as soon as they hear it. Penny calls me Boston all the time. Just a local appliance repair technician and pretty laid back. Not really much else other than that, honestly.
Well, no, I'm glad to have all you guys here, man. Everybody seems to be in great spirits. It's a great Friday night, man, in Longmont. Beautiful night, man, out in the city.
Hip hop's 50th birthday. Shout out hip hop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. Do you have a first song like that really kind of brought it in for you? Because I can tell you mine.
What was it?
Oh man, I remember I was young. My brothers, they always was into like hip hop, dancing, stuff like that. Special ed, I got made. Okay. I'm your idol, your highest title, numero uno. Hey, I thought he was the coolest light-skinned cat I've ever seen. Man. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. And then ever since then, man, it's just been crazy whirlwind of music, man, and hip hop, man. So happy 50th, man.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. And so we're gonna segue out of that. And the first topic, got some wide range of topics, man. I hope you guys bear with me and stuff like that. So the first topic I want to talk about is, that recently, it's not recent, it's been going on for a while, is drug addiction. Mm-hmm. So, and I want to talk about drug addiction, loved ones, friends. How do you help them? Or how do you know what I'm saying? Offer them support, or do you? So who wants to hop out? Nobody.
So growing up in Boston, it's widely known that Boston has a really bad opioid epidemic. Yep. It's been going through that for quite a while. Yep. I've have family, friends have all, been addicted in one way or another to one substance or another. One of my really good friends, who's actually a bodybuilder now, he just competed in his first bodybuilding competition in Vegas, and he came in second place, so I was really excited. I actually told him to his face. I was like, I don't want you to go, because he went through a rough time, and he ended up going to jail for a little bit. And I told him, I was like, I don't want you to go to jail, but if this is what changes, whatever it is, then I mean, this is the path that you have to take. I definitely don't want you to go, but sometimes extreme measures work and sometimes they don't. I mean, everyone is different. There are so many things that are so situational that don't work for one person that will work for another, and vice versa. So it's tough. It's tough to, so.
It's almost like a rude awakening, But at the same time, I feel like, you never really understand what someone's going through. So there could be many different situations or whatever that person's going through that cause them to do whatever that they do. But at the same time, I believe that providing a sense of comfortability, that to make them feel heard and understood, and that's the best way to really just get them to keep moving forward. Just because I feel like no one's really staying on the straight path in their entire life. You always go left and right, whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it's really up on your friends, family, loved ones, whatsoever that you got to really guide you back to the main path that you're supposed to go on to.
So what if you don't have that and you need a hard reset like his friend had, like where you have to sit tight? Do you treat it as a criminal problem or is it a mental health problem?
Oof. I think that it's really hard to tell case by case, So just because, there's huge homeless population around here, Boulder or whatever surrounding areas, and some people might got into that situation due to, whatever, they don't get any support from their loved ones, family, or whatever, but some of them just chose to do that. So you never know, but I'd say in order to really understand someone, you gotta start by listening to them first. So that's the start, I believe. So
I think it's possible. I got a really close friend right now that's really struggling.
Right.
But he hides it very well.
Oh wow.
And you wouldn't even, honestly, couldn't even tell.
Right.
Like if you were kind of not dialed in to what he has going on, because he always kind of moves kind of awkward, always you know what I mean? So you really don't even know. You know what I mean? Until you kind of really put eyes on him or what he has going on.
Right.
Something's off.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but I think the way life moves so fast for all of us nowadays, it's hard to really, you know what I mean? Unless you tell me what's going on, or unless, you know what I mean? I just think that it's very hard unless they're day to day with you or all the time with you is the only time you really can see. But I don't know. It's just tough, man. The whole conversation about, do you support them? Do you go ahead and let them go ahead and figure it out? Because are you willing to slow down to kind of help them out? Or
I don't think there's a blanket statement for it because everyone's different. I can think of 20 people in my life that have struggled with addiction in one way or another, and they all were different. Some of them going to jail, they never wanted to be there again. It was a rude awakening, a cold snap from that repetitive drug addiction. And then there's the time that they can't, they can't go get it, so they're already building that sobriety. But then I know people that the second that they got out, immediately went to the same place to do the same things with the same people. So it's a question of, are you willing to risk your own mental health? And if so, how far on that ledge are you willing to stand with somebody? Because eventually the ledge is going to crumble. There's always a rock bottom. And so for some people, there's 20 rock bottoms. And sometimes a rock bottom is the end of your life, So it's really hard to say.
Recovery is always ongoing. You know what I mean? It's always going to be there. It's always going to be something. But I got a question for you, right? And this is, so there are people you know what I mean? Wednesday brought up, people without support or people that were unhoused and things like that. What are your thoughts about people maybe receiving government benefits or government assistance and stuff like that? Do you feel like they should be required to take a drug test to receive that?
So the thing is, the system, it's a blanket system, so it's for everyone. Unfortunately, you can't do case-by-case situations like that where it's like, okay, this person is 25 years old, in perfect health, and just doesn't, like, there's no reason, or they're not taking care of someone elderly or anything like that, and they're on it for what reason? Just so you can't, but you can't, isolate individual people like that. And then there are people who are legitimately unable to leave their house, unable, with physical, mental ailments, who are taking care of people, taking care of like someone elderly like that. So it's hard to answer.
Well, no,
because you can't. What are you going to test an
the
85-year-old
only,
woman?
But the only reason why I asked, because there was a conversation that was brought up like last week that me and somebody else had saw, like where people like on unemployment, right? They're required to fill out a certain amount of applications because the idea is to progress off of unemployment.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the whole idea. And then the question was, is there a plan to progress off of Section 8 or EBT? Is there like a plan, like to get people to kind of progress?
No, there's just a limitation. You can only make so much money, and then they'll cut you off. But it's really unrealistic expectations. Like they give tons of food stamps to people, who claim that they have no money or whatnot. But then like people who are really working hard, will barely come above, whatever their like percentages are, and then they'll lose those benefits, but that throws you right back into poverty, having to come out of pocket now the like whatever $100, $200, $300 that they were giving you.
Yeah.
So, but to touch on like, should they drug test people? I mean, are you comfortable starving an addict because they're doing dope? They're still poor. They still can't eat.
But if they're using it to supply or you know what I mean? And who's to say?
But how do you know that? Yeah, but how do you know that?
But who's to say? But I'm just throwing it out there as an example. Like
people are gonna abuse the system any way they can. There's always those people looking for like the come up or the upper hand over somebody. The easy way out. But that's unavoidable.
But how should John Q. taxpayer feel is the question. Like just an average everyday person who pays. No, I'm just saying, the average person who pays taxes. How should
all pay taxes?
No, but I'm just saying in general, without the feelings in it.
Right.
Like, what do you think the average taxpayer?
I feel like
feels
there's bigger things that they could worry about.
Exactly. So, like for example, I feel like we all pay taxes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the government spent millions of our dollars on building military or whatever, which is a good thing in a way. But at the same time, we're not at war with anybody. So when you come down to a smaller topic like this, I think that not we, but as a government, that you gotta believe in the good nature of human. So like you're there to take care of everybody, your citizen or whatever. So like it's not your like job or duty to reject someone due to their indifference or whatever, so it's your job to take care of everybody and believe that everybody has a good nature in them, although in reality that, like you guys said, like homeless people, not necessarily once they get $1 or $2, they're going to go for a shot or go for some drugs or whatever. There are cases like that, but at the same time, I chose to believe that, as a government, the essential function of a government is to provide, So I think that's how a government should work.
So when you talk about provision, do you mean what are your thoughts on education, or like in healthcare? You feel that it should be free to everyone?
I believe so.
Like so college should be free and healthcare free for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
There are a lot of stupid people in this country.
We're one of the few countries that
Stupid
doesn't
people.
do this.
Stupid people.
A lot of
people
them
don't want
came
to
out of
further
high
their-
school
Yeah.
brilliant, but couldn't
Yeah.
afford. Do you know the average person goes into like hundreds of $1,000s of debt just trying to get one degree, let alone people that are like ambitious and
Work
want
at
to do more.
AutoZone?
Correct, because
Hey, not against them AutoZone dudes, bro. Hey, bro, they smart as they smart as however. This guy hooked my car up. Hey, got me up out of there quick, fast, and in a
Plug
hurry.
into AutoZone. We love you.
AutoZone.
I'm like, I shop there. Chill out. Chill out.
I gotta show face around there.
Yeah, we need it. So.
You know what? You know what? No, because I went in there for a light bulb and I asked this motherfly. I said,
Whoa.
I
Easy
didn't
there.
cuss.
Easy
I
there.
didn't cuss.
Easy there.
That's edited, right? I felt that was censored. Anyway, I went in there and let me be like, I am not mechanically inclined, right? I'm not. Right. It's just not my thing. Like, never been my thing. Like, I'll figure some stuff out, but. Anyway, long story short, one of my headlights was out. So I went in there, I said, yo, this is my car. I was like, I need a headlight. He rattled off some headlight so fast to me and he said, it's over there. And, and what was it called? I was over there for 20 damn minutes before this guy who's like the Crypt Keeper's godfather walked over to me like, do you need some help? And I was like, yeah, that'd be flipping fantastic. But anyway. We're not plugging AutoZone. Fuck it.
Whoa!
The first one that's been thrown.
The first one she got it off. Now you just went left, huh?
All right, should we all just fall?
acting real O'Reilly's over here.
Simmer down.
All right, so everybody pretty much agrees that it should be free.
Yeah.
College and healthcare.
Yeah,
So the pushback. I just want to be the voice of pushback.
Right.
So people say, so there's not enough money to go around to handle all this stuff. No, I mean, I'm saying no, to handle this problem, because
there's
the next, but I'm just saying no, that their idea to fix these problems is to raise your taxes. Then all of a sudden it's.
But whose taxes aren't getting raised? I see we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about Elon Musk.
You want to talk about my taxes being raised? I
We're
don't even know what I
talking
pay taxes to half the time.
Yeah. I mean.
But I know that like the 1%, their taxes are very slim in comparison. Like why? How do you have that much money and majority of the nation suffers? That doesn't make any sense to me. But that's okay.
That's
like
we're
not asking questions like that. I don't see that question.
No, but I don't know their tax. I don't know nothing about that.
Like,
I've never been in that. I've never been in that problem before. You know,
take it outside of percentages and numbers. You know that there's a 1%, right?
Yes, indeed.
And they make
I'm aware.
Astronomical amount of money that like most people couldn't fathom of. And you know that the majority of the population is like mid to under poverty. Majority. That means there's like this is the middle ground, and then there's the 1% that could easily like dissipate some of that. But this is my money and I worked hard.
Right. And we're not taking that away from them. All we ask is like pay their fair share. Like that's it.
And what's a fair share?
Like
if I go out here tomorrow, right, and I come up, right, and I make a billy, right, I make $1 billion. You telling me that how much of that I got to give up? Like, what's a fair share of me to give that up?
by the government, because they make you give up taxes anyway.
Yeah, so but I'm just saying though. But what's a fair? But what's a fair share? Should it be the same percentage as you pay, or should I pay a higher clip? Is what you're saying?
Right.
Whoa.
For the betterment of society.
That's a hard sell.
But that's what the government does anyway.
And then
they typically take a percentage of the whole.
No, but hear me. That's a hard.
Except until recently.
That's a hard sell for you to tell somebody, and then you don't want to put restrictions on all these other things to make people progress off these things. Would that make sense?
If the events were simultaneously happening together, you're correct. Yeah.
All right. So moving past that and the 1%. Hey, Jeff Bezos, I like you. Amazon, please drop my package off tomorrow. You're gonna keep getting skipped. Hey, but I want to ask you guys, right? So, talking about money and talking about where that middle class and that poverty level is, let's talk about the housing costs in Longmont. Though, I don't need actual numbers as far as rent goes. No, but as far as rent goes, but I'm talking about like buying a house, living comfortably. Right. Is that a thing of the past? The American dream, I guess it would be. You know what I mean? Like, can you have a 3-bedroom house with the white picket fence and afford to be here in Longmont?
Not outside of an HOA. Right. I mean, you're paying. I mean, everything is an HOA. Sure. It's ridiculous. There's very, very, very few houses.
Comes off very similar, like having a landlord almost.
You do have a landlord.
Yeah. They can
And
tell you
because
what you can do in your
work I
driveway.
used to do tree work, and we would go into HOAs, and people forget that
Exactly.
everything outside of those walls is not yours.
Yeah, exactly. Like what?
You
what
own
even
everything
is an
inside.
HOA? Like-
You own everything inside the house, and that's
Homeowners
it.
association.
That is not your
it's like,
home.
why
That is
do
not
they
your
even
land.
exist?
And don't they all like operate like out of California or something like that? Like they're not
Hey,
here.
chill out. I'm from California.
No, but they're not here.
No,
like
yes,
all those
they
H,
are.
a lot
We
of those
have
HO.
HOAs
No,
here.
but I said a lot of them aren't here. In the actual state.
They're like little communities. You
Right.
build HOAs
No, I'm
off
talking.
of a
I'm talking
No,
about
he's
the
talking
people
about
who
like
run them.
like the hedge funds that own them.
Like the ones that
that's fair.
own them.
That's fair.
They operate out of the state. You'll get a bill in the mail. Oh, you left this outside your house.
And they're gonna be telling you where you can put your mailbox at, where you cannot put your mailbox.
They don't like the
Oh,
color
yeah,
of
at
the
the same
trim on
time,
your
you
house.
pay for it. It's your property.
It's an
but they're gonna
eyesore.
tell you whatever you can or cannot do.
So outside of houses, I'm talking about just the price of rent
Right.
in Longmont, right?
Right.
Because the rent's going up every 6 months. It depends on your
Yeah.
lease, or every year, right?
Yeah.
But these wages aren't keeping up.
No,
That's
they
correct.
ain't. Yeah.
That is correct.
So what are you? So, I mean, as a single person, I can only speak up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know everybody's situation.
Right.
But at some point, you will get priced out. It's a known fact.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel that that's pretty near. Like to where is either you gotta.
I grew up in the inner city. I know this isn't that's not Longmont, but I grew up in the inner city, and it was everyone considered that part of Boston like poor, right outside of where the airport is and everything like that. And now, Boston specifically has the highest rent in the country. So, I mean, gentrification does that to places, and when old
I was just
towns
thinking
get gentrified, then they build as many ugly apartments as they do around here, unfortunately, and everywhere else. It's not just Longmont. It's color. I mean, it's. I just recently went back east, and they're building the same exact type of apartments back home. It's like,
that. So, well, because we're overpopulated as it is,
Yeah.
as a whole, we're just overpopulated. So they're cramming, and architecture says go up, so that you can fit more compact, and that's just gross, And that's why, but people. I mean, people will pay like $500,000 for a house, and you can see in your neighbor's window from your window, and that's outrageous to me. That we would pay that much money to like spit on our neighbor's house. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like I said, and I had mentioned too about the wages not increasing, right? So with everything going to apps, self-checkout,
Right.
everything like that, pretty soon there's going to be no jobs.
mean-
These are taken away from jobs
I mean,
for the people.
Low-level jobs.
Yes.
It would force people to have to
Entry-level jobs.
elevate themselves.
And the low-level jobs are usually by the people already struggling. And that's what I'm saying. So when
Well, if we had free education, then they might not be struggling so hard.
right. But at the same time,
Imagine if you didn't have to pay like $60,000 to $80,000 to get a certificate degree to be like an electrician or a plumber, or a trade job, And then if you're in a bad market or something, then you can't pay back those loans, and then you're just accumulating all this debt, and it's a whole like mind combobulation.
and I get you there, but the pushback is coming from like
The
I said,
wealthy that have to pay for it.
No. My pushback is coming from another place, from a whole nother angle. What about the people who use this but don't fully utilize or take advantage of the free to take up space, that don't progress in the actual free educational system? Then what?
well, that's a question that we need to ask ourselves after we make that happen.
yeah, but that's that
That's the
goes
step
right
two.
before they get to college.
Step one
No,
is
but I'm
to
just saying,
That's-
so say for
yeah,
instance
but-
you offer free college to everybody, right?
Yeah, but if someone
There's-
is already in the position in their life when they get to college where they can't think for themselves, or they're not
Can I look up
They didn't
statistics
have
on my phone? Is that allowed?
access to good education from where they are, then college is irrelevant at that point. So if you're young and you get poor education as growing up, college is not really going to matter to you because you're not getting a good education from where you are, and that happens in a lot of inner city places and a lot of
in that impoverished places. Yes, I get that. But at the same time, if you offer something for free, right? It doesn't matter if it's a well-to-do neighborhood or a problem. if you offer something for free college, everyone that goes is not going to take full advantage of it. So you're wasting money is what I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean? That's going to be the
but
pushback.
everybody doesn't have to go, and some people won't take advantage of it.
Yeah, the thing,
You're the one that said people
and
are going to take advantage of the system.
What would be the point of going to free education? You know, people that go to high school now skip class and stuff because they don't want to be there. It'd be the same theory, but you're an adult. You're not forced to go like when, you know, before a certain age.
Yeah.
you're wasting your time.
Because if it's free, you're not having to get grants and loans to go to where you can be piggybacking
I
off
get
that
it.
money.
It's your responsibility, man. But people waste all kinds of resources.
No, absolutely.
Wasting
but
time.
I think not going would be wasting the resource if you need it, but going and
Even if you're
even
like
if you're
half-assing
fit,
it.
yeah, even if you're not necessarily good at what you're trying to do, but you're trying to learn, then you're not. It's not a wasted resource.
We're here for the triers.
How many people there? And I just want to throw it out there. We don't have statistics. Everybody's freestyling, Katrina.
I looked it up. There's only like 8 places that offer.
So
free.
no, but
Free.
how many freshmen wash out of college from partying and doing drugs?
Again, that stems back.
No.
It has
But
to.
I'm just saying, just in general. But you guys want to put no restrictions on this. Everybody gets a free education. It's like Oprah.
right, but
you get a car.
But think
You
of
get
how
a car.
it's gonna
It
change
doesn't
the
work
system.
like that.
You're thinking
But-
that it's still going to be a system. People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for their kids to get into those
they
houses
still
where
do the
frat and
exact same thing.
sorority parties,
And they
are
still
huge.
do the same thing, but they're
Yeah.
footing the bill for that kid to do
Right.
that.
So
So
it's
who
free.
cares if the parents are footing the bill for them to do that versus me, taxpayer, footing the bill for you to do that is a totally different thing. It's a
Like
totally
billions
So,
of taxpayers,
are you saying
not
that
you
they-
specifically, but
me.
okay.
It's coming out of my
I
pocket.
mean,
I think
thing
what
is-
we're specifically talking about is like privatized colleges.
Right.
Well, like speaking on like frat houses and stuff like that. Like that's more of a privatized college thing.
Okay.
But
But even
Right,
state
right.
colleges, if I'm footing the bill and you're partying every day of the week and they're with without any restrictions, any like, hey, you got to show up to class, you have to be sober, you have to do
And
this
if you're not-
for a free education, and you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
then you just don't get free education. It's the same thing. Like if you don't,
So there's restrictions. You would see
I mean, you still
putting
get
restrictions
graded,
on the
so
free
if-
education.
you still get
if you don't
grades.
go to class and you don't do the work, you're still going to fail the class, and they
Right.
will
You
kick you out of
won't
school.
get
That's
the
standard.
degree.
It doesn't matter if you pay for it or you don't pay for it.
Exactly.
So the only people are
And-
wasting time is the time of how long it took you to
Right.
fucking say that.
Or the taxpayer who paid for the first semester for
Yeah,
you to
but
flunk out.
of the 5
but
that flunked
at
out,
that
you're
price.
having 20 graduate. Like, come on now.
At the 5?
I'm thinking on a high note.
If
Probably
you go,
not
if
even
you go
5 that
to
are
if you go to
flunking out.
CU during the semester, oh, you are wilding out.
Hey, which I went to see you.
As a 18, 19-year-old, you are wilding.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him. The thought went through his
Part of
head.
the
Like,
culture,
see,
part of
see,
the
the-
culture.
oh,
first
look,
year
the
I was
thought just
there,
went through his head. Like,
I
you
thought
know.
about just, we're
Boston
gonna
College,
party, do my
18.
thing, and second year figure out whatever, what I want to do. Third year, do
It's
my
like a
work.
rite of
Fourth
passage.
year,
BC's
Graduate.
privately owned.
get a desk job, continue living my life.
That
But
sounds
it
horrendous.
really didn't work out that way, which I didn't even graduate, do some family stuff. But at the same time, drive back to your point, because I believe, this is not a jungle, we're in society, we're in civilization. It's not just the strongest will survive. As a government, as a system that you supposed to be provide for the cannots, the weak ones. So like, which I believe in here, the American dreams, like if you're smart enough, work hard enough, you're gonna achieve whatever that you want, right? But at the same time, in reality, it really doesn't work that way. Like you take into hard work, dedication, effort, whatever that you want. But it's not a guarantee that like you will be successful if you just dedicate yourself into all those things. But at the same time, I believe as a system, as something that a government, something that we should look out for those that doesn't really have the best mindset or doesn't have the best way or tools to achieve success, and help them. And whether they are going to be successful or not is their decision and their action that's going to drive to the final result. But at the same time, I believe that we should be providing that to them, so.
I mean, like I said, the healthcare thing sounds good to me,
Right.
regardless, right?
Right.
But I just think that
Well,
when
what
you,
if they're just
no,
using it to get pills?
No, but I'm just saying. No, but hear me. No, but hear me. No, but hear me.
Let me be the devil's
no,
advocate. What if
but-
they're just using it to
but
beat
health-
their addiction?
Hey,
Were we just talking about addiction?
healthcare regardless. You know what I'm saying? Healthcare regardless for me. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody.
So a society full of
But-
fed
but-
addicts over
but
a society
education-
full of like first year
No,
drug
but
kids?
education and other stuff, man. You
Interesting.
you can't just send somebody to college with no restrictions as an 18-year-old.
But we do that now and charge them obscene amounts of money to do it.
And that might be predatory a bit. Them loans and student loans at that age.
terrible.
That might be. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's kind of on them. Versus it's on, you know what I mean? Like I said,
what's
me.
the alternative? Not going to school? Not continuing your education because you can't afford it?
But no, I'm just saying, you want to put all these things in places for people to do for free, but you don't want to put any controls around it.
Nobody said that,
no
though.
restrictions on it.
We said drug addicts should be allowed to eat, but we didn't say that you can't test a college kid who's getting a free education.
Because the athletes get tested. You know what I mean? The student athletes,
Anyone
part of
with
their
a scholarship
scholarship
who
and
gets
stuff like
free
that.
education is tested.
So would you say if the state offers free education that these kids need to be drug tested?
I mean, I wouldn't say
See?
like.
And then now all of a sudden,
I wouldn't say like, oh,
Bring it
every. Well, listen, and then you might learn something. But I
Oh,
wouldn't say they
teach
need to
me.
be
Oh, damn.
like tested every week. But like randomly, like if you look like a party animal, hey, come here. We might need to have a conversation.
Yeah, but
know?
then you get
It's
stereotyped. I'm just serious.
Stereotypes always gonna be exist, like
you know,
no matter what. So
I mean, it's just
I
the
mean, but it's
unfortunate
one of the
reality
things
of
you're
it.
subject. It's just like being at work. You're subject to random drug tests.
Right.
It'd be the similar thing.
And there are plenty of people who get, subject to random
Every
bag
time.
checks at the airport, and
Yeah.
they happen to look all the same.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying that stereotyping wouldn't happen, but I mean, what are you going to drug test everybody on the same day at the same time, and then
Yeah.
everyone's buying clean pee?
I mean,
I don't think there's enough uriners to do that. but
They'd
anyhow.
make a killing if they did it that way.
Nah, but I'm just
That'd be the
saying
company to invest in.
you can't roll out all these things, right? If not, there is no progression. There is no. That's like I said, like the Section 8 thing. People can be on this for till this child turns 18.
Yeah.
Like they can go from
Right that
beginning.
way.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, they
So-
can be there from beginning to end because there is no no regulation. There is
Right.
no like, you know what I mean, put in place for them to progress off of it. Is what I'm saying. And so if
Which
you
on the opposite spectrum, imagine getting that letter when your kid is 18, and you have no you know what I mean? Like nothing to fall back on, and then it's just like, oh, well, now we're not really paying your rent anymore. So figure out how to now just pay like $1,800 by yourself.
and that's what I'm saying. So the pushback on that is you had 18 years to figure this out. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just saying what the average person who some people, the 1%, like you said, aren't in tune with what goes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Down
course.
in
Trust fund
different
business.
areas and stuff like that. They're not all in tune. And so all I'm saying is
Old money.
these are the questions that they may have. If you want me to pay a higher clip or whatever like that, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I
however
mean,
much.
In reality, aren't you tired of walking down the street and it smells like piss because we have so many homeless people on our streets because they can't afford to live here?
I can't afford to live here.
I can't afford to live here.
Can't afford to live here.
Nobody but
Nobody is. Yeah, exactly.
We're all
Nobody
struggle
is.
busting it through life right now.
Hey, look at
Yeah.
TJ. He said, I'm good.
He's like,
Y'all-
I'm
y'all- y'all- he said, I'm good. Hey,
I have a great
I'm,
place.
I'm on the up
He's
and
like,
up.
I'm
He
good.
said,
Like,
I'm good, yeah. I'm good.
no, I have a nice place.
He just looked over. He said, "Look." He looked at it. Broke people. He said, "I'm broke people."
I'm broke as fuck.
He said, "This is what they look like." He's like,
I mean,
This is
No.
how the other side lives. Okay.
I just lucked out. I got lucky. I didn't
see,
land
that's
in
what I'm
like an
saying.
apartment. I landed in a house with like roommates, but
"Oh,
Right,
So you
right.
living good." Hey guys, man, we're back, man. Everybody's braked up and rested. Trina worried about Chipotle. We're gonna get there.
I'm hungry, man.
She said. So yeah. Hey, so let's shift gears, man, you know, from politics and everything like that, and let's move into the social media aspect, just for a touch on a little bit of stuff like that. Do you guys think that social media is helping or hurting? You know what I mean? Like just the overall, just the country as a whole, or the world, you know what I mean? Like, is it doing more harm than good? Is it bringing more issues to light? Is it bringing more, you know, just a whole range of topics you can with that question.
Right. It's a very yin and yang type thing. Because, I mean, the internet is amazing. There's endless information at your like this thing is more powerful than the first moon landing. So
No, I tell people all the time, man, the phones are powerful, man. We used to have like 26 encyclopedias at the crib, like the A through the Z. That's all you had.
No.
I remember moving and like all the encyclopedias had to come through, but nobody touched them in like 10 years. Like, why are we moving these stuff?
Yeah. No, I mean, so, and then on the other end, you know, it develops a lot of self-hate. People are terrible to each other, especially when you don't have to look the other person in the face.
Right.
It's really easy. I think Tyson said, you know, you wouldn't say anything to me in real life or something along those lines. Like, you know, don't say anything you wouldn't say on the internet that you wouldn't say in real life and wouldn't be prepared to get punched in the mouth.
I will give them this, though. Sometimes the internet be internet, and them dudes be funny.
Oh, it's great.
I don't know. I don't know where they come up with some of this stuff.
No, absolutely. The dumb, but what, you're talking about just stupid videos
Like,
people
just,
doing
no, I'm
dumb?
talking about just the comments that people leave. Sometimes just the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're funny.
No, agreed, 100%.
I won't leave my
It's
own.
funny, I actually don't read comments unless someone specifically says read the comments.
Yeah.
I think because,
That's the first place I go.
No, I think it's just because I care so little about other people's opinion on other people's stuff, because that person's not giving you social media. That person is giving you a fragment of their life, and
I
that's
don't care
it.
what they're saying. I just like to laugh at them.
And I think that's usually why, unless someone else points it out, I won't even bother looking at it because. I care about my opinion of what I'm looking at. If it's funny, cool, haha, double click, later.
Yeah.
And that's just my view on it. But I also think that I catch myself all the time. I'm just like, I've been looking at my phone for an hour at nothing. I don't even remember what I've been looking at.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
I was like, I just wasted an hour of my life looking at nothing. I laughed a couple times, watched some dumb videos, and I got nothing out of it, except dumber.
I mean, do they pretty much find your algorithm or no?
Absolutely.
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
They got you?
Absolutely.
Look, you be watching food porn.
Exactly. Yeah. They'll be all
I love that dude that makes the chocolate sculptures. That should
It's awesome.
yeah, so cool. Yeah.
Well, at the same time, you're saying that it has no value to you, but I think it's like, it provides you with entertainment.
There is entertainment, but
It made you laugh.
and I agree, and that's what I'm saying.
Had a good time.
There's that yin and yang where it's like, it does give you that entertainment. It does give you that joy and laugh, and it gives you ideas, and it's creative. As someone who wants to do culinary stuff, you're like, I would never even think to do that.
Right. Exactly.
And that's awesome. And then you do your version of whatever. So working out and with people and training people, you're like, I didn't even think to do that.
No, I
And then
get
you
it.
can also sift through people who are just kind of full of crap.
Right.
Which, a lot of people.
Heavy
Yeah.
puppets.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I mean, do you guys feel some type of way, like if you're looking at something like, so say for instance, like, I think the last big concert maybe was that Taylor Swift thing, right? And everybody's looking at it through their phone rather than be there. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is all you see.
Right.
Like, you don't, like, people don't really even look at anything anymore.
Agreed. A lot of people don't live in the moment.
Yeah.
If I go to, if
Or
I'm at a
if you
concert
weren't
or
there,
a
it
show.
didn't happen, or, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I
Like,
like about a lot of I mean, I haven't been to, a lot of big names in comedy. Like, I love stand-up. I love watching stand-up comedy. But a lot of comics, you have to turn your phone in at the door, and they won't give it back to you until you leave the building. You cannot
They
record
have
them.
like the little slips.
Yep,
and you have
absolutely.
to like put your phone.
It's like a coat check.
Yeah.
Your phone is not coming in that building because that's the point of it. It's supposed to be an intimate situation, an intimate environment.
And it's their craft, so if people are
Exactly.
recording it, then anybody who didn't pay the ticket price can see it.
Yeah.
And that,
And
like
you'll see
losing
it.
money.
You'll see it in a day or two through clips. Which is unfortunately how I. And that's why.
honestly,
and again,
and
that's why I go through.
But
I'll sit
say,
there.
I will say the internet be internet, no, because I did watch unfortunately, the Crawford and Spence fight through somebody's live.
Oh, that Alabama fight? I didn't watch it.
No, not that fight. No, not that fight. I'm talking about the boxing match. I'm talking about the boxing match. Hey, we are not. Hey, whoa.
That was the Avengers Assemble, man. Oh my
Hey,
God.
look at you trying to like we're not in.
I haven't seen
You
it.
told me not to talk about it.
Hey, like,
That was
man.
funny. Oh my God, that was funny.
No, that's the yeah. So yeah, the internet,
So, I
the
mean,
internet, and then
but
you're like, oh, I wouldn't have watched.
I'm not
I would
talking
never.
about that fight. I'm
No,
talking
but
about
I
the
would never.
pay-per-view
Yeah, and like I would never
that
spend
was
$100 to watch this damn fight, but now I get to watch it for
I
free because
only
someone.
watched that fight
Exactly.
because of the internet. I would have never known about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yo, I see you got equipment over here. We're locked and loaded like 20 deep.
There are a lot. There are a lot of chairs over
They're the
there.
wrong color. They're the wrong color.
Oh, okay, well, excuse me.
Hey,
Improvise. You gotta improvise.
That's crazy. But no, so I'm talking about what about how do you guys feel about people, and you had touched on it, putting parts of their life on here,
Right.
and do you think that affects, like, so people only see people's good stuff? That's it. Does it affect mental health of others who spend,
does.
you know what I mean, time
Absolutely
going through
does.
it? All you see is the perfect picture of this,
Yeah.
or the
Right.
perfect, you know what I mean,
How could it not?
filter of this, or
Right.
you know what I
How
mean,
could it not?
vice versa.
Exactly.
So-
It's how could it not? If everything you're looking at is perfect people that don't actually exist, how could it not?
Right.
How could it not send a certain image into your brain? Like, why don't I look like
that's-
this? Because they don't look like that.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but it's just it's that
spending
simple.
money to be cutting cookie pasted together.
But what about the pushback telling people to unplug, if that's how they feel?
I mean, that's factual.
I mean, it is.
Take a break.
Yeah, I mean, what do we do before we had the internet?
Yeah,
we had
what
our
were you doing
phones
before
every
your
second
phone
of the
was
day.
active?
Right.
But I don't even think people know how to interact anymore.
They
Like,
don't.
like how we're sitting here talking
Well,
right
and
now.
COVID as
Like,
well
but-
definitely hindered
Yeah.
like human interaction. You
Yeah.
know, us being on.
But I
the
think,
we said a
but
lot
I
of
think
people-
even before COVID, the interaction was not the highest.
It depends
feel
who
like
you
it
are.
was-
Like
and who
people
you
were
talk
all
to.
text. Everybody's texting. You know what I mean? I mentioned
You're
it.
just
Like,
old.
no,
You
but that's
just are
not.
old.
That's not how you communicate.
Okay,
So,
so
because-
what would
no.
you say is the right way to?
No, but I'm just saying, how you send me a
Drive
text.
over to your
No, but
house,
how you.
knock on your door. Excuse me, man.
I used to walk through 20 miles of snow.
If I send you a text, right?
Uh-huh.
However you read it is however it's taken.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely.
That is
Especially
not
with all
good
the
communication.
Emojis nowadays.
Like,
you
yeah,
know?
I don't even
Like,
understand what you're
send
saying,
voice
especially when you're talking in, you know what I'm saying, acronyms and emojis.
Right.
What are you saying?
Yeah,
And you're
exactly.
finishing some of them too,
Absolutely.
and you're throwing me
Valid.
through a loop.
Valid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that is not communication, especially if you're trying to get something done. If you're trying to get something done, you need to verbalize what you're saying. So I know that you know what I'm saying, what we are handling.
Right. But
And just a
nowadays-
text and an email don't really do it all the time.
Right, but texting been a way of communicating for a long time, you know. But back then was Nokia's. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, E, F, G, and
But
blah
that's
blah.
still-
See, when you try to send one text, you're gonna spend a long time on it.
Have
Well,
you ever
versus now-
got a text message from someone and you're like, there's no way I'm reading that right now because it is this long?
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been a 30-second phone call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how I look at it. And I've absolutely written a long text because it might be in a weird situation where whatever, I can't talk, but I need to,
Right.
for work especially, whatever. But it's a 30-second phone call or a 5-minute read of something that I don't want to read, and I'm probably going to take out of context because there's no emotion behind it.
So you are saying that you prefer someone to actually call you and tell you whatever they want to say.
Because then I can hear it in
rather
their voice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
Okay.
anything.
I know. I trust me. I'm on board with it. Period. I get some things can be text right quick. Boom, bam, 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 bam. But if we're gonna like actually talk, or we're putting a plan together, or we're gonna actually like, you know what I'm saying, like, or if we got something going on, I need to hear it, and I need you to hear me when I say this.
And look, there are certain things that are minor that you can, who gives a shit if you're sending a text message? Right. You know, it's like, hey, asking how someone's doing, sitting at your desk and you can't be on the phone, whatever it might be, whatever situation you're in. So, but I agree with you on the other thing. A lot of people don't know how to physically talk to each other, because then when you have to look at someone in the face and see their emotion, and that you just don't know how to do it. You're not looking at an avatar of someone.
And people live through fake reality, like they are these avatars. That bothers me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trust me. Keyboard warriors, as they call them.
I see people all the time. This is not what you look like in real life.
But the thing is, now that I feel like, for example, you were talking about actually calling somebody, right? Okay, go back to the dating, for example, right? So, for example, for you, me, and him, we're talking to a new girl. For you, talking to a new guy. And then I feel like most likely what's happening now, you'll be calling that person and be like, hey, what you doing? That person will be like, nothing. And then you'll be like, what you eat today? Nothing. All right, and you'll be like, what you up to? Nothing. You'll be like, okay, how do I go from that to like, when I call you, you give me basically nothing. Then why shouldn't I just text you, be like, hey, what's up? And you're going to give me the exact same reply, So I just feel like it's true that, when you actually call somebody, you use a different tone, and the voice you use, the speed, how you talk, it does create like an effect on that person. But again, like go back to what you're saying, I feel like nowadays nobody really knows how to communicate with somebody, so that's why most people chose to text somebody.
That's your question. How many times have you actually laughed out loud?
Not as many times
Not
as
as
I've
many
typed
times.
it out.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
That's poor
That's true.
texting. That's poor communication. Just going from there, that wasn't funny at all. Ha! I'm letting you know that I think. I want you to think that I think something that I'm not thinking.
I feel like I use
That made
LOL as
sense.
a defense mechanism. When I say something risky, I'll throw a LOL in there
Exactly.
to smooth it out
Yes.
as it lands. But
LOL.
I also feel like it's a lot about reading your audience. Like some people, I can communicate very well via text, but like trying to have a phone conversation, they want to talk about everything other than what I need to talk about. You know what I mean? And that's hard for me because you can't control somebody's flow of conversation as easily in a voice conversation as you can in a text message without being like read a certain way. So like if you're going off task in a phone call, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but like let's get back to the subject. Then all of a sudden, I'm rude or I'm aggressive or whatever the case may be. Whereas if I text you and I'm like, hey, I need this, this, and this, like hopefully you will just respond with this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But it's reading the audience. If him and I are friends and there's no business, like why wouldn't I call him like, hey, how's your day going? And like I'm making dinner, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, a person like me, I'm either driving or lifting weights or helping. So I need my hands. I can throw this in the ear, and I can talk to you while I'm doing said like that. So I run into a lot of problems. Okay, boom, somebody will text 7 o'clock, 7:15. I get in motion and everything like that. I don't reply till like 10. That kills, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? All the whole communication line right there, because they feel some type of way,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But guess what? I need my hands.
I also think that if it was that urgent, they would. I think most
would
people,
call,
if they text you and like, I need to know this now, and they're just sitting there, just like,
But they don't.
and they don't.
But they don't call
Then that's
you, bro.
their- then that's their problem.
They'll just text you again.
Then
Or
just,
they'll send question marks or something else. That's what they do. This is the way they communicate.
then just
You see it. No, like they'll put like 4 of them in line. Like, hey, you gonna answer this, or you gonna what you got going on?
If it's immediate, I've definitely question marked somebody, but it's someone that I know responds by a text normally. If I ask you something and I know you're not a big texter, I'm just gonna call you. Again, read your audience. It depends on who you're talking to or who you're talking about. Most business things, someone's gonna call you. If they send you a text and they need an answer, they're gonna call you right away. Personal stuff, sounds like you're talking about a woman that send like 85 flipping question marks? Because that's what women
Well,
do.
no,
Like,
I'm not talking about just
I'm
one
not gonna
question
call you
mark
and tell
down the
you that I
line.
want your attention.
No, but
I'm just
saying.
gonna send you 75 question marks until you call me and be like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Or they'll send the what you doing, what you call it, or the what you doing, or the where you're at, or whatever like that. But that's just the way it is, man. And I don't know. And moving to that, since you brought up the women thing or whatever like that, let's go ahead and stay there and let's talk about, not necessarily the dating scene, but the disconnect. Like, what does a first date look like?
Oh, for
What is that?
Or does it exist without texting?
Wait, you were saying that you
Like
go
where
on
you
for
sit
a
at the
first
table
date
and you.
without even texting first.
Yeah, look,
You
nah,
just
but I'm
be
just
like,
saying,
okay,
though,
I'm
like,
gonna meet you up at this and this
No, I mean,
at 8 o'clock.
you meet somebody or whatever, say, for instance, wherever online or
Okay.
wherever at like that, you decide to meet up somewhere and have dinner.
Right.
What does that look like? If you're not a communicator, if you're used to texting, what does that look like?
You can tell right away.
Right away, yeah.
It looks like two people on a first date looking at their phones. That's exactly what it looks like.
Right.
See, that bothers me. And that we don't even have to be on a date. If we're sitting down, like, one-on-one or eating or whatever, like, and we're here, like, please do not be on your phone in front of me. That is so disrespectful, yeah.
Yeah, and if
Exactly.
any time that I've ever been on a date and I can feel my phone like just for whatever reason blowing, I'm like, I apologize. Let me just look at this, and then I immediately it's like I am not on my phone.
Oh, what a gentleman.
No, because it's disgusting. Like I'm not there to talk to other people. I'm there to look and talk to to you.
Right.
So I think that's.
Yeah, but what happens when you don't get that in return?
Oh, I have. I've gone on, dude. I went on this date, and we were at this restaurant for about an hour.
Great, this is about to be great.
We were there for about an hour. We talked for about 5 minutes. She was on her phone the whole of the time. She also brought her dog into this restaurant.
Is it a little ankle biter dog?
It was an absolute ankle biter dog, a long-haired Dotson.
Did she have a
and-
big purse for it?
No, it was just on the ground. And I say it because this whole situation really like got to me. She's like, "Oh, can I have a plate of meat for the dog?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." So he brings out steak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like little just whatever, just thin flank steak or whatever for the dog. And she goes, "Oh, he actually doesn't eat steak. He'll only eat chicken." And, mind you, this is I met her 10 minutes ago, and I looked up at him and I was like,
I hope she sees this and is like, what's wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that?
and he like looked at her and looked at me, and I was just like absolutely not. And
That's a whole nother question. Do you got to go Dutch or do you got to pay for the
oh no,
dogs?
she's like, "Oh, I'll
Oh,
pay."
you're paying for your own dog's meal.
Oh,
Nobody
she's
told
like,
you to bring
Oh no,
them
no,
my
She's like,
little
"Oh,
butt."
I'll pay for your margarita." I was like, "I know."
Look at his face. Like,
Absolutely. You know what you just did.
Are you gonna eat that steak too, or like?
Yeah, like
releasing
I would
that?
have eaten the dog's steak, but no, he put it on the
I'm getting
floor.
it, like shit.
Like you waited until he put it on the floor for the dog.
so currently, and I don't mean to put you on blast.
No.
But you're single.
I couldn't be more single.
All right. Everybody's like super single, like, you know what I mean? Like when they say they're single. No, but I'm talking about when they say they're single, it's like a next level. Like, oh yeah, I'm the most singlest person. Like,
No,
like,
and it's
you know what I mean?
it is what it is. I'm not.
So what is it that you're looking for? Like I'm not saying that you have to give an actual like. What would you like?
List it out.
A normal person who isn't just like always looking for the next best thing.
He's looking for love.
That's a good heart.
Whoa, was that? Look at, we're gonna have to bleep this. No, we have to bleep out whatever hand gesture you just made because it looked.
Yeah, he made a heart. He wasn't throwing up gang signs,
Looked
dude.
inappropriate.
Yeah,
It
Penny.
looked inappropriate.
We're talking about that.
Hey, whoa, he went back and did it.
Dang, that's
He went back and did it.
I wonder what brain side are you dominant? I wonder to make it like that.
So you're
Isn't
looking
that
for
also
love
good?
as like you were actively
that's
like
fine.
single and looking for.
Isn't the point of
I mean,
dating?
okay, I mean,
Oh my bad.
I'm talking to somebody that I like. I hope it works out. But again, nowadays you never know.
Did you meet him online or did you meet him?
Yeah. So like, going back to that, I feel like I don't know about you all, but like, I no longer go out to bars try to
I haven't done that
pick
in a
up a
long time.
conversation with somebody.
I've
like,
never
you
done
know.
that. I've never taken someone home.
Yeah,
or-
exactly. Like everything I do nowadays is really just online. Like, that's kind of my way to really looking for the one. Like, so.
Is online?
Do you think there's just one? There's just one for you?
I think
just
so.
one.
Just because I believe in my nature that I believe in, the chase after something real, something long lasting, and I will never get tired of chasing after that. Although it's gonna, set me back a few times with all my exes or whatsoever, whatever happens. But I believe that, if you don't put yourself out there, then you will never get a chance to experience that. But I believe love nowadays is so complicated. It's not just two people. You're like, I love each other, we want to be with each other all the time, and we're gonna have a great time, be married, have kids, blah 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 blah, all that. Everybody have their own expectation and understanding of what love is. So you just really got find the one that matches your vision. But I believe the most complicated thing about love nowadays is really just two people willing to really compromise in order to make something work. Just because no matter how much you like that person or how much that person likes you, nobody's gonna be say I'm 100%. Like there's not even a single thing that I dislike or I feel like irritated about you. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I believe is what we are willing to sacrifice for part of ourselves in order to be with that person. And nobody's ever stayed the same. We all grow older and older, so everybody's changing constantly.
After you give all this love speech, I'm gonna feel bad for asking this next question.
Oh my God!
After you do all the love thing,
I believe what I
I'm
believe.
like,
You
oh
believe
my
what
God.
you believe, man.
No, I'm not
I
talking.
mean-
No, I'm not talking about the belief in love.
Right,
I believe that
I
there's
mean-
somebody out there for.
Yeah, but again, going back to relate that back to the social media thing, just because there's so many temptations out there. When you be with somebody, you're always gonna find
If you would have
someone
snatched that out of
online.
the air, I'd have lost my mind.
Yeah, you always find somebody online that's better looking, richer, have more money, drive a fancy car than you. But again, I believe that there is somebody out there for everybody that's gonna be the one for you. You just gotta.
So speaking of sacrifices, right?
Right.
And like I said, man, it's terrible. But because I recently came across like a podcast or whatever like that I was watching, and they were talking about body counts. Wow.
Okay.
My question is,
It's true.
does it matter? Whew.
That's a hard
Like,
question.
and vice versa from your point of view, and also like from a male and a woman's point of view, does it matter?
It doesn't matter to me unless you're like boastful about it. Like I really don't, because I know people that have a high body count and the game is still trash, So, I mean, that doesn't make you a better lover just because you have a higher body count. And as long as you practice safe sex, like that's none of my business anyway.
True.
And that's just how I feel about it. Usually the plus is that they're a better lover if they've had a higher body count. But again, I'm never seeking that information either. Like when I get to know someone, that's never on my list of like, let's make sure we know what this is. Because it's none of my business. That was before me,
Right.
I want to be the last person that you worry about shit. So.
Right. Because I feel like this shows like a side of insecurity in a way, just because like I believe if you guys just fucking, am I allowed to say that?
No, you're not.
It was literally the first thing he asked. First thing you talked about.
Okay. If you guys just
No more heart
Are
symbols.
intimate.
I know more.
what? I can't even do
If
this.
you guys are scissoring, is what you're
You
trying
go
to
ahead
get.
harder. He scissors harder than he does. Like, oh yeah.
We were all
I'm just
scissoring.
saying.
No,
that's
we
what
were-
you guys
I
do.
was. I just scissored. We're scissoring now.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what you guys do. Then it doesn't matter. But if you really try to be with somebody,
No.
try to like.
So hypothetically, right?
Right.
You have a woman that you're interested in, right? She's friends with this woman, but she's friends with you as well, right?
Okay.
It's just a hypothetical
Oh, I
situation.
see where this hypothetical is going.
No, but I'm just
See
saying.
where you're going.
But she tells you the count's high, or whatever. The female's body count is high.
Okay.
You're saying that it's something that you can just look past and not even, regardless of insecurity. So whatever you said before,
Right.
you can just look past it and just go ahead and proceed forward, even if it's
For
like.
me, it depends on where we at that
Yeah.
moment when that information was exchanged to me.
So if you starting to talk to her, you'll continue talking to her, or you stop, or you know what I mean. I'm just,
What if
and
you
there's
just
no
find
right or
out till,
wrong
like
answer.
a year in, and you're like madly in love with her, and it's like, it's like 500 dudes. I used to be an amateur porn star.
Better pour myself a
Would've never
glass of
known.
whiskey.
He said, I would have never known.
You never know. No, that's
I
right.
would've never
That's
known.
right. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But I don't know. Like I feel like it's questionable that because for me it's like if you really in love with somebody or you feel like there is something that's gonna happen in the long term, I'm willing to look past what happened. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. But if my mindset is like I just want to have fun, then why would I even care?
Exactly. No, but I'm just saying though. But I just think, and I think that a lot of people they'll dance around the subject.
No, yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to you picking a wife or somebody and she throws that same example out there,
Yeah.
and you're walking down the aisle. And you're looking over on her side, and you're standing up there looking on her side, looking on her side, who's on her side, and you see the whole Jacksonville Jaguars football team over there, and you like, oh yeah, it's cool, baby, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm just throwing it out there
all
for
your
example.
bodies to your wedding. That's
Hey, I'm just saying, you never know who's
You
gonna
never
show
know.
up.
You never know.
Trying to win her
That
back
could
or something like that, or trying to
that
like
could happen.
I would totally do that. Like, look what you missed, bitch.
invite them all.
Yeah, everybody.
Hey, nah.
You get an invitation. You
Honestly,
get an
I would
invitation. You
just
get
be
an
like,
invitation.
goodbye. Have a good life.
Sheesh, 30,000 in on the wedding
big
at the
problem
aisle. Have a
with,
nice life.
At least get to
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hey, but we're
Is,
turning that. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to have this much access to other people.
Right.
We're not supposed to know a billion people.
Right. Exactly.
Like, never. You know what I'm saying? Like, outside of, like, organic interactions, you're not supposed to know how this many people exist. You're not supposed to have this many people to hate, like, or whatever, and influence whatever you do. So, I think that's another problem where, you know, the whole next best thing comes in, where it's just like he or she is annoying me. He's being or she's being nice to me. And it's that easy.
So that comes full circle to our original question about social media.
No,
Is it harmful or is it helpful?
Well,
Like,
again,
you know what I mean?
It's the yin and
Like,
yang.
it's the yin, it's
You
yin and
know
yang.
what I
So
mean?
The other.
you either meet the love of your life, or you meet someone who could take absolutely everything away from you.
Yep.
So, or you can have someone who you think is the love of your life, and they're just like, okay, I'm done.
Hey, but at the same
I'm not
time, I
interested
believe,
anymore.
you know, for your perspective.
And people do that every day.
Right. But I believe just, you know, you always got to stay true to yourself, you know. So despite how the other person might treat you or might act the way that you expect them to be, you always want to stay true to yourself and don't be toxic. You know,
It's
control yourself. Take the high road. I guess it's hard. It's easy to say, but hard to do.
exactly.
But at the same time, I believe that, you know, it's like if that person is being toxic to you, that doesn't give you enough reason for you to be toxic towards them, because that's not healthy to yourself, nor to.
It's easy to take the high road when you're dealing with bottom
Right,
feeders.
exactly. You know, because when I'm like, you know, when it comes to dating, I always want to try my best to make things work if I decided to want to make it work. You know, despite how other person might act, you know, that's out of my control. I believe, you know, like you control what you can control. So, you know, if you can't control that, then whatever happens is whatever happens.
But the problem is, like you said, everybody doesn't play by that rule.
No, exactly.
Because you have people,
Exactly.
I'm sure you have people on your social media platforms or whatever, or your pages
absolutely.
that post something but are living a total or struggling. But they'll, living my best life, like, you know what I'm saying, over here.
You are seeing
But-
snippets of a
But then,
video.
like,
you have to
but
be
you know them.
confident in yourself.
No,
like,
but you know them.
to
that
not
they,
let that something so mediocre as social media like weigh your life. And I know that it's not easy for everybody, and like mental health is real. You know, and you never know like what people are struggling with, and then they just see that right picture that like spirals them. So I'm not negating how real that is, but also like it's about like owning yourself and like your own truths. You know, like I know without a doubt that like celebrities and people who have this picture perfect world, that it's not really like that. And I know that because even if I was blind to like news and stuff, I watch reality TV. You know, I've seen all the clips, I've seen TMZ and stuff. So snippets of that give us like real truth and reality that like it's not perfect all the time. You know, these still are real people. They just have, you know, extraordinary talents or gifts, and we put a spotlight in their face, and you know, they're still real people. But people get so lost in the sauce of like $30,000 dresses and crazy cars and like bottles that they could never afford, that it's just a whole thing. But you just self-awareness and being like owning your own truth is like huge if you're going to be one of those people highly affected in social media.
Do you voice this to them though, or do you let them go ahead? Like if they're in your circle, right, and you know that they're struggling, or you know that they have something going on, are you going to say something? Or are you just going to let them go ahead and rock out? Like, no, I'm just saying, but that's your friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Struggling
And you
how?
know,
I'm going
like,
through
say, for instance, like that, hypothetically, right? Man, like I said, just a bunch of hypotheticals, man. Like, I just throw something out there. Say, for instance, somebody's broke.
Okay.
And you know, they're your friend, they're broke. Last month, they called you and asked you for help with the rent, right? Or whatnot like that. But then on social media or whatever, on their story or on their timeline, they are maybe giving off the illusion that they're living the high life, or, you know what I mean, or whatever. But these are your friends too, like, you know what I mean? You gave them the money, or whatever, like that.
Is that money actually going to the rent?
No, but I'm just saying, do you address it, or do you just let it go? Because it's about being, like you said, being real. You know what I mean? At the same time, like, and this is maybe somebody in your circle, or somebody that you're willing to help out if they were $100, $200 short on their rent. You know what I mean? Do you address it, or you just say, huh?
Fake it till you make it.
I wouldn't even care. Like any of my friends, I feel like if you were my friend enough that I would loan you money to pay your rent.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you were my friend and then I see you on your story and you're flashy, oh, I'm dogging you out over the phone. Like I'm on your not
but
like
you're talking to them. You're not gonna like talk to everyone on the internet.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna be mad. I'm gonna like, you know, like talk
hell are you
spit, you know,
doing?
like what are you doing? Like didn't I just pay your rent, bitch? Like what the fuck? But I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool.
But
And outside of money, if somebody you know is sad, and you know that they're going through something, people don't, you know what I mean? They'll post something the total opposite of it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you know them well enough to know
Why does it
that, it doesn't matter.
So you don't address it.
You don't address what?
Like, I mean,
what
so
does
you
it
don't.
matter?
No,
If
but I'm
you're
just
in
saying,
their-
though, if
you're in
that's.
their face, like, are you okay? Like, I know
Yeah.
you're struggling. What does it matter what they're posting to everyone else? If you're their rock, like, then the rest doesn't matter.
And see, and me personally, I think that comes from people not addressing it. That it perpetuates that, you know what I mean? Everything is fine. And then they let it go on the next person, and that person lets it go. You know what I mean? If it's not addressed, then that's how it's getting out of control, period. That's how everything has gotten the way it is, because people just letting it walk with people that they deal with on a daily. You know what I mean? If you deal with somebody like, say, for instance, we work out every day, right? Or whatnot like that together, right? Hypothetically, right? We work out every day, and I let you cheat on a few sets all the time.
Then that's
What am I letting you know what I mean? Like I'm not pushing you
helping me.
to the exactly.
Right.
That's the and you know what I mean that comes from all social and outside of working out, outside of the little social media stuff, outside of the witch club. If nothing is being addressed, right, with the people that you're close with, or the people that you know what I mean that you have access to, then it's not getting handled at all. And if everybody does that in their circle, or if everybody's not pushing people in their circle to be better, or pushing them to, you know what I mean, like, hey, you're a cook, you need to open up a restaurant. Hey, how can we do this? How can we get you to where you need to be? How can we get, you know what I mean? You're a creator. How can we get more events? How can we, you know what I mean? How can I help you as a friend?
People.
No, but I'm
Like,
saying
you
no. How
can encourage for
yeah,
sure.
no,
sure.
I was just saying,
You
I'm saying
should
just
have
push.
always
Just
like
different
a
verbiage
team around you
to
that does
make
that.
you want to be to get
Not
to the next
everybody
level.
is like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, but some people just won't respond like that. You know what I mean? Like you can encourage and motivate someone. Like I know people with like incredible talents, and no matter how many times I'm like, yo, let's jump into this business plan and like really do this for you. Like that's just not, it's just not there. You know, not everybody has that like drive or hustle to keep pushing forward. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like some people are just content in complacency, and that's how some people choose to live their life, and no amount of like encouragement or opportunities placed in front of them could even change that.
But I'm talking, but so that's the business aspect. But I'm talking about also too personal. You need to encourage.
I was
you need
thinking
to
of my
encourage.
best friend actually, who's she makes stickers and stuff. But she doesn't push it hard enough, and then she's like, "Oh, I just want to do it." And no matter how many times I encourage her, you know, she still just drags her feet through the mud with it.
Yeah.
Same thing with mental health addiction. You can't fix somebody that doesn't want to take the initial step out of the mud.
So, and that goes back to the original first question: how do you support them then? By just being, huh? Or do you just not let it?
It's a dance. Like you have to figure out like what they need when they need it. If you decide to take on that responsibility for that person.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. If you decide to take on that responsibility, because that's exactly what it is.
Touche, man. Well, I guess that was a full circle conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Anybody have any final thoughts or anything that they want to have going on? Besides, oh yeah, we got free haircuts, man, today. You know what I mean? So
I got mine.
I don't think I've ever seen you with a hat off. But yeah, so you know what I mean, at 1610 Main Street in Longmont from 8 a.m. to 12.
Yes, sir.
Free haircuts, man. Got breakfast by Roses and Cilantro here. And I'll put everybody's Instagram on the bottom of here so people can reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? You have any events coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a ton of stuff coming up. The main one that I can think of right off the top of my head is Metamorphosis. So September 2nd, I'll be in a modeling show that really speaks to people turning their traumas into like armor. So I'm not modeling clothes, I'm modeling like my own backstory and personal story. It's with a bunch of other, you know, really amazing people in our community. So I'm definitely tap into that. That's all over my social media right now and Eventbrite and
That's
everything.
happening here? Or?
No, so that'll be in Denver at Void Studios, but I'll definitely send you the information because it'll be great. It'll be great.
Absolutely.
No,
To be a
TJ?
part of
No, I don't do anything.
Hey, nah, you don't say that, bro. You be participating in them like frisbee golf things, man. Hey, man, I'm King Penny, man. This is the crew, man. I appreciate you guys giving your time. No more scissor fingers, no more hearts, bro. We're good. Man, stop it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But nah, hey. This is the Don't Act Different Now podcast, man. This is episode 2, man. Hey, be watching your DMs, man. You might be invited on this couch or one of these chairs. Might be you coming next, man. Hey, you guys have a great night. Let's get Trina to Chipotle.
It's closed now.